My name is Emily. I am currently 43 years old. My husband, John, who was the same age as me, passed away from a heart attack 2 years ago. His departure was truly sad. We as a couple were not blessed with children. It was a long and painful situation. There are times when I felt guilty because John, who loved children, couldn't have won. When I expressed my feelings of inferiority, he firmly taught me, even if we don't have children, we can live happily. It's fine if it's just the two of us having fun together. From then on, we as a couple decided to strengthen our bond and share happy moments. Despite that, a change came to our lives. Just when we thought things were looking up, I experienced the loss of my beloved husband and was enveloped in loneliness. In this harsh reality, I ended up living alone under the same roof with his mother, with whom I often clashed. We lived together. John's father was now around due to their divorce. The fact that our home was a two-family dwelling was the only saving grace. However, she started to frequently visit, possibly because she missed her deceased son. I felt concerned by my mother-in-law, who was domineering and often made sly remarks of being against you being with my son from the start. "What do you mean by that?" I asked. "It's because he married a woman like you that John died." "You should pay for it," she said. "You've told me this multiple times, but are you suggesting that I am to blame?" I replied. "He probably got sick because you couldn't manage his diet. I bet your seasoning was too rich. The fact that he gained weight after marriage proves it," she continued. "It's true that John gained weight after our marriage, but he always said the food was delicious and ate it with joy every day. John has a kind soul. He would accept it even if the food wasn't good without complaining," I defended. "If you had been more attentive to his health, this wouldn't have happened," she insisted. These words, certainly told to me by my mother-in-law before John's funeral 2 years ago, were a huge shock. She made it seem like John's illness and passing were my fault. Those words were extremely painful for me. Even if it wasn't true, being told the same thing every day affected me mentally, making it a very difficult time. For my mother-in-law, Joe must have been the most important presence she could imagine. How painful the sudden and too early departure of her beloved son must have been. I could understand her inability to control her emotions. However, her attacks on me escalated day by day, and I never doubted that something like that would happen at the time. "Because of you, my precious son is no longer here. Were you aiming for his insurance money from the start?" she accused. "That's just not true. We as a couple wanted children and were working hard on it, even visiting hospitals. The idea of aiming for insurance money is ridiculous," I refuted. "Every day without John is unbearable for me. I can't possibly act like you soon, can I? Why can you say such cruel things? It would have been better if you were gone instead. Why did Joe have to go through this?" I pleaded. "These words are too much. I can't see my son anymore. What would John think if he heard what you just said? Blaming me won't bring John back. Joe was a calm and admirable son. He worked so hard. Why did he have to meet such an end? It would have been better if you were gone instead," she lamented. "There's a limit to everything. There are things you can and cannot say," I reminded her. "I'm just talking to myself. I'm just saying what I've been thinking. It has nothing to do with you," she dismissed. "In the end, what do you want to say?" I asked. "Move out," she demanded. "Why should I move out? Living with you makes me feel like going crazy. I won't say tomorrow, but please leave this house as soon as possible. As of John's passing, the ownership of this house should be mine," I asserted. "Now that John is gone, you think the insurance money and the house are all yours, right? You're unbelievable. I didn't know that there is insurance money involved. When she found out about the insurance payment after his death, it seems to raise suspicions in her mind. She appeared to believe that I had caused John's death to get the house and insurance money, and no matter how much I tried to explain, she wouldn't understand. I fell at my limit with the situation. Living with her was becoming increasingly difficult, and my days were mentally taxing. Here's what happened the next day. "You must be living comfortably without a home look and with a lot of insurance money coming in, not even having to work. Is that why you came here today to say such things?" No, it's such a tricky way to respond. I can't stand the constant night remarks. I understand that you're grieving over John, but it's not fair to take it out on me. I too miss him terribly and feel lonely. Really, don't make me laugh. With a house and money, isn't everything just perfect for you playing the good wife act or you? I don't want to hear such things. We struggled with not being blessed with children, but I loved John and always hoped for us to share many happy moments together. It's impressive how you can say such things with all the freedom, money, and everything going your way. Isn't like just perfect? That's so cruel. If I could exchange the money and house to have John back, I would do it in a heartbeat. Oh, so you're saying you don't need the insurance money then? Why would you even say that? If you don't need it, then also have it, right? This money is the last gift John left for me thinking of my future after he's gone. I want to cherish the sentiment. What a shameless woman you are. At this point, I felt it was detrimental for both of us to continue living together. So I mustered the courage to make a proposal I have been contemplating for a while. Can we end this lifestyle? What do you mean? Every day we argue, and it's just hard on both of us. I think it's difficult to continue living together. That would be best. Please find a place and move out soon. You're the one who should move out. This house is under my name. I can't believe you're trying to kick me out. You're even worse than I thought. The house is too big for me alone. I'm considering selling it once, then settle down. Plus, properties around here seem to sell for a good price. Just when I thought about what you'd suggest next, it's about money again. How much more do you need to be satisfied? If you're thinking of selling, you should just give it to me. Living alone, this house will be too big for you as well, and maintaining it, including property taxes, could be a burden. I can help you find an apartment. Or should I pay rent when I can live here? If you're planning to sell, you should give it to me. I believe the rent for an apartment would be more affordable than maintaining the whole house. I can't afford to pay rent every month. I will help with the rent. If that's the case, that's fine. I'm glad to be freed from living with you. I always thought it would be the worst to be with you till the end. Promise me financial assistance. All right then, let's start looking for an apartment soon. So we decided to live separately. Mother-in-law seems to be struggling financially, so I intended to help her with the apartment fees. Our relationship is complicated, but she is the mother of my beloved husband, John. I want to support her as much as I can. Around the time I started looking for her new apartment, I suddenly fell ill. The diagnosis was cerebral hemorrhage. Luckily, it wasn't life-threatening. Including my recuperation period, I spent 2 months in the hospital. During my stay, mother-in-law never visited me. My parents and sister took turns caring for me. Thanks to their support, I could return to almost my regular daily life with only slight residual symptoms. And just like that, my 2-month hospital stay flew by, and the day of my discharge arrived. I ordinarily intended to return to my parents' house for a while, but when I went home to get my belongings, I was met with a shocking scene. What, the house is gone? What happened? I stood there in disbelief. Mother-in-law appeared as if she had been waiting for me. Congratulations on your discharge. I didn't expect you to come back looking so well. There are barely any lingering effects, and I can return to my daily life. Well, that's good to hear. I do not disagree with you coming back so healthy. More importantly, what happened to the house while I was hospitalized? About that, I sold it for about $150,000. What do you mean? So you sold that without consulting me? I had a friend who wanted to live around here. Her husband works nearby, and they're in a hurry to find a place, so I just sold it. Selling it without even telling me is unacceptable. It's not a big deal. Right after you were hospitalized, I got this offer. I thought even if you survived, you'd probably have difficulties living normally and might end up in a facility. So I made a decision on my own. Don't be mad. I can't believe it. But thanks to me finding a buyer, we got $150,000 from selling the house, unbelievably, while I was in the hospital. Mother-in-law sold the house without asking me. Their acquaintance had always wanted the land around my house, and mother-in-law took it upon herself to conduct a private transaction. Are you planning to sell someone's house without consulting them and then keep the money for yourself? The house was originally under John's name, right? That's true, but I don't think it's any of your business. Anything that belongs to my son John is mine. You interpret everything in your favor, but that's not how it works. What do you mean? When John passed away, the house title changed to my name. So what? Selling a house without the owner's consent is almost criminal, you know. Please don't call me a criminal. Who would you think you'd be able to live a normal life after hearing about the cerebral hemorrhage? That doesn't mean you can just sell it. Why are you making such a scary face? Do you think you'd win in court? How about splitting expected to $50,000 so $75,000 each? It's not about the money. Then why are you so angry? Why I was hospitalized. She sold our house on her own and used the money to buy a condo for herself. Coincidentally, a condo next to our house was on sale for about $75,000, and she lives there now. Moreover, my belongings were placed in the new home. When I had my cerebral hemorrhage, she seems to have doubted my condition was serious and made various decisions ahead of time. During these 2 months, I decided to tell the self-centered woman the truth. The house is no longer under my name. What do you mean? I was in the process of selling the house while I was hospitalized. So what? Because of the good location, it was quickly decided. I was supposed to handle the procedures after I got discharged, but I've already sold it, so it's too late. You should cancel it right away. It's my house, so I don't have any reason to cancel. Please explain the situation to your acquaintance and refund the $150,000. What are you talking about? I've already bought a condo, so I can only return half of it. Then you'll have to sell the apartment you're living in now to refund the money, won't you? My clients also seem to be planning on demolishing the house, so it's convenient. I also have to move forward with the procedures. So please refund the money soon. Wait a minute, we're not done talking yet. I'm thinking of returning to my parents' home, so I'd appreciate it if you could send my belongings there. Wait, I think today will be the last time I see you. Please take care. Following this, I cut ties with her. Later, I heard she apologized to her acquaintance whom she has sold the house to without permission and repaid them. The cost, including demolition and inconvenience fees, amounted to about $170,000. Furthermore, although she sold her apartment, its value had decreased since her purchase. Consequently, she ended up with significant debt. On the other hand, due to her actions, I saved on demolition costs and made a considerable profit from selling my house. Then a new house was built on the land where we had lived. I was nostalgic about the familiar place where I have spent happy times with John. Seeing the new house evoked bittersweet feelings, but I visited the place. Unexpectedly, someone I never wanted to see again appeared. Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Why are you here, mother-in-law? I'm on my way to work. You're going to work now? Yes. So you've started working? I'm in detail because of you. Why is that? I have nothing to do with it. What happened to the assistant for my apartment you talked about? We've cut ties and are no longer family, so that discussion is void. John would be saddened by the situation. I'd say the same thing to you. What do you mean? John always prioritized me and treated me with such kindness. He was always considerate, wasn't he? What are you trying to say? You used to blame me almost every day, right? Saying that John's death was my fault. Yes, because it's the truth. How do you think John would feel if he heard that? Mother-in-law, it's that the loss were worse. John built a multi-generation house for us because he was worried about you. Did he? Yes, he did. Don't you think John would be saddened to know that you saw the house he built with so much love and kept the money for yourself? You're being sarcastic. If Joe hadn't met you, he would still be alive today. Are you still going to say that? Will that change how you feel? I have no reason to be lectured by you. Now that you've got so much money, you should at least take on some of the debt. You're still family, aren't you? I never really liked you, but I intended to take care of you because you're the beloved mother of John. Of course, that's the least you can do. But honestly, I cannot forgive some of the things you've done and said after I had a stroke. I just can't forget the hurtful words you've said to me. That was months ago. Don't hold the grudge. It's hard for the person who was hurt by those words to forget. You're quite tenacious, aren't you? Call it what you will. I'm not involved anymore. By the way, aren't you supposed to be at work by now? Oh, look at the time. Take care on your way. If it weren't for you, I'd be enjoying a piece for retirement by now. Sounds like you regret your choices. Instead of blaming others, maybe it's best to reflect on your own actions. I then spoke my mind to her and left the scene. It's been only 2 years since John passed away. Thanks to the money he left behind, I'm now able to lead a stable life. The money that John left for me is invaluable, and I intend to use it wisely. I've purchased an apartment near my parents' house, and I'm living there alone. I miss having John by my side, but I find comfort in believing he's watching over me from heaven. I want to live a long, healthy life, cherishing the memories I shared with John and living for the both of us. My dream is to one day reunite with them in heaven and share all our treasured memories once again.